So my name's Jem Wall. I've been a working actor really for 35 years. And I suppose the last 10 or 12 years of that, I've also set up and run a small theatre company called Hydrocracker. Fairly traditional routine. I did a degree in drama at Bristol University. Spent a few years doing small-scale touring. Then getting into bigger regional repertory companies. You know, I've worked at quite a lot of the high-profile theatres, the Royal Shakespeare Company, the National Theatre, but I say pretty traditional work. Turning point for me was doing work at Shakespeare's Globe, and the biggest difference there was I could see the audience, I mean, just as clearly as I can see you now. All the other theatre I'd done was theatre in the dark, where I was on stage. I knew there was an audience out there because I could hear rustling and coughing, but there was no real connection. And the Globe was something very different to me. When I suppose shared light, we were all in the same light, could see each other. And that made a real impact with me, I think, in terms of form, thinking, okay, what might it be like if there was no fourth wall, if the audience was, we could see each other and talk to each other and interact. And so I was keen, I suppose, to start making my own work. I started with some friends and we started, okay, how might we make our own work, make the work with the people we want to work with, on the subjects we want to work on, and for audiences that we want to work with. And as I say, I so wish I'd done that when I was sitting where you are. So we wanted to make theatre that wasn't in theatres, for people from, you know, might feel, well, theatre isn't for me. So all our theatre was going to be site specific. And we were, I suppose, fortunate in that immersive or site-specific interactive theatre was quite new then. Not many people were doing it. And I suppose our other aesthetic was, yeah, we want more for the audience than to sit in the dark and watch. You were in it. So I'd say that's a really important thing to have if you set up a company. What do we want to do? Then you might get funding. Find out what other people think. Doesn't mean so you have to agree with it, but listen to how it went down. It does need a lot of talking to nut out those things of what do we believe, what do we want, who's the audience, who do we want this to be for, why am I doing it? It's all about collaboration. So if you like, strategically, we will always look to collaborate with somebody bigger than us because we don't have that. It's really hard turning thought into action, I think. So with a group of collaborators where it's okay for all of you to be really rubbish, because then it starts happening. So I think you've got to be very practical about what time you're prepared to give up, what money you need, and what to start with you're prepared to, if you like, not be paid for. Have a whole number of ideas up your sleeve, I would say. Because also the other thing about that, if you do get a show on and you've got promotions, you say, well, what we're thinking of doing next is this. You know, always have something to talk about, to pitch. Practice pitching it as well. I'd say, you know, on pitch, you know, how would you explain it to someone who knows nothing about it? It's this. And that takes a lot of talk and practice, you know, to work out how do you pitch it, you know, and if you can't pitch it in, you know, a couple of minutes, then you don't know it well enough. Keep working at the pitch. I wasted too much time trying to spin stuff. It's much, just be honest. Be honest and truthful. Most decent people will listen to you. Keep a record of the work that you're doing, how you got there, because what seems obvious when you got there actually took you 3 weeks to get there, and that did really valuable and useful for funders to see how you answered the question. I wish I'd started making my own work a lot earlier.